G'day everyone, I think I'm live. I'm just going to bring up a live chat window. Let me go to YouTube. So bear with me for a minute. Oop. Now, basically, this is totally unscheduled, so I thought I'd give it a couple of minutes to let people log in. Thought I'd pop in at a different time for you guys. Let me open up this. And let me open up the chat here. Pop out chat. Let me see. Let me move this over so we can grab that in. So say hi if you are here, guys, because I'd love to... where are we? Where is that chat gone? How come that's not showing up? Oh, it's there, I think. Is that it? Restore chat. Oh, there we go. I think that'll do. I don't know why I can't get the other chat to pop out, though. Let me just try it again and see. Bear with me for just a second, guys, just while I do this. I'm just trying to see if I can get this chat to show up. Ah, there we go. There it is. So I'm going to give this a couple of minutes just to let everyone know that I'm live. I'm also going to go to the photography and videography school and let them know I'm live there. So bear with me just a second. Photography, videography school on live. Live on YouTube now. Beautiful. So how is everyone? Let me just check the chat. So we'll go and find out who's here anyway. Boy, a couple of you are up late. Photomiac, you're up really late. Yay, new lens to buy. I'm just going to have a brief talk about that quickly, just to sort of say what I think about it and what you guys think. I just wanted to know what you all think about the new Tamron pricing and stuff like that. But so let's see. So Hero's here, Sean's here, Photomiac's here, the Brotographer's here as well. Agent Green watching you from New York. Boy, you guys are all up late. What time is it over there? It must be really late. So according to my time here, it is 1:11 in New York, London at 6:11 a.m. in the morning, Melbourne at 3:11 in the afternoon, and Los Angeles it's 10 o'clock basically in the afternoon. Hero says, got the notification on this time. Yeah, well, I didn't even put it on. I just went live. I tried a different, I'm trying a different streaming that came up. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a new direct type streaming on YouTube. But yeah, it's interesting. And the funny thing is the chat over there seems to be more ahead of what the chat that I'm showing you is, which is interesting. Oh well. I'll have a look at that. Got the notification. So Mark said hello. Chris said hello, David. Got the notification this time. Hot in Los Angeles. Good Corona day. Yeah, I'm having a lemonade. Steve saying greetings all. JB says, what's up, David? Nothing really. Just thought I'd pop in and have a chat. I thought I'd chat to you briefly about the Tamron announcement that it's going to be released in a couple of days, or announced in a couple of days for pre-order. So I thought we'd go through that together. Mick's in here as well. Vincent said, good evening from Colorado. Scott Dance said, hey, David, are you planning to review the lens? Well, the funny thing is I haven't heard from them. I'll have to notify them again because last time I did, I'll have to contact Tamron Australia and see if I can get a review copy. They may not have any out here yet. But I'll do that straight after I've finished, actually, just to see if there's any that I can get my hands on. Faze is saying he's watching from Saudi Arabia. Welcome, Faze. Photomiac said, just placed my order for the Tech Art adapter. It'll be interesting to see how that works, Photomiac. I'm hoping it works all right. When I looked at that review, it looked a little bit slow, but you'll be able to let us know when you get your hands on it. But it's certainly worth trying out, that's for sure. Hi, David. I was wondering what happened to the Monday 10 a.m. show. I don't have one on Monday, Annie. The only two shows we do live are with Aaron, which we do on the US Tuesday. And then I do my live show, which is US Thursday. It's Friday in Melbourne. So they're the only two scheduled live shows that we do. We don't usually do one on a Monday, but sometimes I just like to pop on like now because this gives the Europeans and the English and stuff like that, England, and even the Australians a time where they can get on that's a different time to my normal chats. So occasionally I just pop in for a different type of chat. Tim saying cheers as well from Finland. I'm just waiting a few minutes, guys, to see how many we get up. If you can, give us a thumbs up too. That would be fantastic as well. So people will know that I'm online. KS Pick said, I was about to go to bed, then saw your live. Eden says, what's up, son? At least my cold's improving, thank God. Hero said, nice. Eli says, it's 1 a.m. here. Hero says 1:11 a.m. Who needs to sleep? My sales rep already had me for the pre-order prior to pricing. Cool. What's this one? Jake said, I want this so I can replace my Tokina EF lens on my Sony A7 III. Toronto, Canada here, same as New York City. 1:13 in Puerto Rico. I've got another one from Los Angeles. You guys never sleep. Patty Tube is from the Netherlands saying good morning. Good morning to you. Photomiac says, I'm currently on the east coast of the US, so it's 1:12 a.m., but I might be still on West Coast time. At home it would be 10. Yeah, it's hard to adjust when you travel, isn't it? I noticed that. Hero said, Sprite looks good to me right now. Yeah, Sprite's all right. Oh, yeah, you with the king in the north right now. Photomix says, haha. Matt said, can you consider to get the 24-105? Well, not for me, really, because I'm not really interested in that lens. Look, I might one day, because it'd be a great travel lens. So that's one thing, I suppose, about that lens. It would be fantastic if you were just going traveling and you wanted a nice lens that was reasonably wide and, you know, a long focal length for travel. So I may get it one day, but we'll have to see. The photographer said, wonder if this lens is going to take a while to hit the market, seeing as their 28-75 is probably consuming their production. It's going to be hard to get. So if you are interested, and we'll talk about that a little bit when we go over this, it's just a Sony Alpha page, but if you are intending to get that 17 to 28, I would pre-order it straight away. Otherwise, you're not going to get it. At all. Haas says, David, can we drag the window a bit to the right? Which window? Oh, is that not playing? Oh, so it's not showing it. Oh, that's interesting. Hang on, let me just update it. I just want to see if that fixes it. Let me know if that fixes that in the chat, because it doesn't seem to be showing it correctly on that page, actually, which is a bit weird. Oh, yeah, I think it's right now. Yeah, it's okay now. Sorry about that, guys. Brett said, hello. G'day, Brett. Nice to see you in here. Hero says, wish they'd announced the 70 to 200 2.8 Tamron and the 100 to 1.4 GM. The 100 to 1.4 will come. There's already patents out for that. It's just a matter of time. That should be a really nice lens too, by the way. Lucas said, I'm going to buy the 16 to 35 GM next month. You think that I must wait? Well, no, not if you need 16 mil, Lucas. Only you would know whether the 17 is not wide enough for you. Then the 16 to 35 is the only real option that you've got at that focal length. So you might have to go for the GM. You certainly will probably wait a while for the Tamron lens. Just because they're saying they're going to announce it doesn't mean that you're going to be able to buy it straight away. I think Sony Alpha rumors are just talking about that. Well, let's switch over anyway, and then I can just come back to the chat. Let me just grab this up here, and I'll drag this over. So let me just update this. So this is the announcement that Sony Alpha Rumors put out, because I wanted to talk to you about whether you think the pricing's good, if you're a little bit disappointing. I read some of the chats and some of the people were saying they were a little bit disappointed with the price, and I don't know how, because it's rated at, they're saying it's going to be around $9.99 US. So they're saying up here that it's an SR5, so we're pretty well sure that this is going to happen. That we're going to get the 17 to 28 price announcement and pre-order starting basically this week sometime. So it's going to be announced sometime this week. And they're saying in here that the price down the bottom, a reliable source now told us that Tamron will have the 17 to 28 pricing announcement this week. We should expect pre-order to open on the same day as those pages on B&H, Focus Camera and Adorama. So basically everywhere, I suppose, the pre-orders will be around. They're saying the price in Europe is rumoured to be €9.99. I guess the US price will be something between $8.99 and $9.99. A couple of weeks ago, the German magazine retested the Tamron 17 to 28 2.8, and this is what they think. They said it had a nice tight zoom ring, lens hood made of plastic, so it'd be similar to what the Tamron is now. I think I've got that in the other room. Autofocus works very quickly. The lens is sharp, even wide open. Some wavy distortion at 17mm and pin cushion distortion at 28mm. But it's easy to correct. Remember, those lens distortion won't be out yet in Lightroom to fix this. It'll all be fixed automatically anyway once the lens profile comes out. Some vignetting at 17mm aperture, which has gone at 28. And again, I don't think vignetting is really an issue nowadays with today's sensors. And like I said, it's a very easy fix in Lightroom anyway. But it's interesting, you know, and they're showing it here. So it looks very, very similar to the 28 to 75. Very similar. And I found the 28 to 75 is excellent. The durability of that lens is excellent, and it's probably one of the best ones that I've got that doesn't mark and scratch, unlike the other lenses that I've got. So that has been excellent. It still looks as good as the day that I got it. So, you know, it looks like it's a terrific lens. But, and again, I suppose if you're dealing with, let me just switch to me. If you're dealing with the Holy Trinity, well then obviously you've got the 28 to 75. You'll then be able to have the 17 to 28. And I'm sure the next lens that Tamron is going to produce is going to be something in that 70 to 200 realm. It might be, 78 to 200 or whatever it will be. But then you've got that Holy Trinity that like wedding photographers and other people like to have at a very reasonable cost. So I think if you're in it to get the cheaper trinity of lenses, I think it's a very, very fair price. And I think $9.99 is excellent if you compare that to the prices that you will pay for the Sony GM lenses. And, you know, and I think that's really good. And it's probably one, I don't know if I'll get this straight away, but I might get it eventually. I probably would be more interested in the 70 to 200 lens, and that might give me reason that I could sell my Sony F4 version. I still love that because it's so lightweight, but if they do the same thing with the 70 to 200 that they have with the 28 to 75, which I love, I'm not saying I won't get this, I might get it, it's just that I'm not in any hurry to get it. But remember too, the price that you pay for this, so if you pay for this and you're only paying $9.99 as compared to the GM version, and you need a wider lens, well, you've got enough money left over to buy a really good prime. And that's the thing that you've got to understand here, you know, that you're saving an awful lot of money. The filter thread, I suppose, is going to be a 67, the same as what the 28 to 75 is. But I have honestly found that I love the Tamron lens, and I've used that extensively, and like I said, it's one of my favourite wedding lenses that I use. Really light on the camera, it's great on a gimbal. So if they do the same performance, and I can't see why they won't, if you get the same performance on this, I think it's going to be a terrific lens to actually have in your arsenal, as long as you don't need something that's wider. Remember, there is a little bit of difference between that 16, it doesn't sound like much, but there is, if you look at it, there's a difference between 16mm to 17mm. So if you definitely need to go wider than that 17, and you're using 16 a lot, it might be a reason to get the GM version. I've got the F4 version. It's not in here, is it? No. Yeah, so it's certainly interesting, and it's certainly something that I'd like to have a look at, and hopefully Tamron Australia can get me a copy so I can evaluate it. I'm sure they probably will. I've just got to wait until they get them here. So it's pretty exciting. But I just want to see what you guys are saying about it in the chat. But remember, I think now a lot of people are saying to me as well, when's the 70-200 coming out? Well, I think it looks like Tamron seemed to announce everything mid-year, like the previous one was when it was released. It looks like this is going to be a similar time frame. So I suppose if you're looking at that, you're going to be thinking about the 70-200 about this time next year. That's what I'm thinking anyway. So let me see. Hero said, if it's as good as the 28-75, yes, wait and save the money with it. Too, it will be way cheaper for sure. There's other advantages to it though. Like I said, it's incredibly sharp. It is incredibly sharp if you're in the middle. Yes, I'm talking about the 28-75. It does soften a little bit in the edges, but that doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I'm quite happy with how that is. And I love it, like I said, to throw on a gimbal or something like that. Because it's so light, it's fantastic. And it is super sharp in the center. And that's one thing that, as long as it's sharp in the center where I usually need it, I'm happy with that. If they give me similar performance on the 17-28, it might be a great lens to also have. And you've also got the 2.8 aperture, remember. This may hurt the Sony 16-35 f4 because it's cheaper than it. I think in the US, the 16-35 f4 is about $1,400. Is that correct? You'll be able to correct me in the chat, but I think that's about the price that it is. So if that's the case, it may hurt the f4 version. And if I try it and I really love it, it might be that I sell my 16-35 f4 and I buy the 17-28. And then obviously if I need something wider than that, well, I'm in the market for a wider lens than that anyway. So yeah. So let's see what you guys are saying. Chris said the Sigma 35 1.4R is on sale at Adorama for $649. Should I wait for the rumored 35? Well, again, Chris, it depends if you really like it. That is a really nice lens. It's always hard to say should you wait because you don't know when it's going to come out. If you need it and you need it now, I would just jump in and buy it. But if you can wait, well then just see what happens for a little bit. But it's the way I always think is if you need it for work now or you need it for shoots now, I would jump in and get it and not worry about something else being released. But if you can wait, hold off. Hero said, if it's as good as the 28-75, yes, wait and save the money. It'll be way cheaper. Joe said, my Sony 10-18 is essentially the same range on my A6 400. Yeah, I've got that as well. But don't forget this is an f4 lens, so it's nowhere near as fast as what you would get with the Tamron, which is a 2.8 lens. I love this lens too. And it's one lens I won't sell because I do adore it so much. And it's quite good even on full frame. But, you know, you're not going to get the quality that you will get with the Tamron probably with this. It is a little bit softer. But for what it is, the 10-18 is a great lens. Haas said, David, I'm going on a family trip. I use the A6 500 and the Tamron 28-75. Would you recommend the Batis f2 or the 24? I'd get the 24 1.8, Haas. I love it. This lens is stunning. Really, really beautiful. I absolutely adore it. It's so light, so small, beautifully made. You've got the declicked aperture ring on it. You've got your focus buttons on it. I would definitely get the Sony 24, definitely. I just posted a pic on Melbourne that I just put on a few minutes ago. This was shot with it. Let me just quick back to here. I just did this. This was just done with it, which I posted. Let me just move this down. Actually, I'll do it from here. That was just, I posted that just now, actually. That was the 24. I'm not a landscape shooter, so, I mean, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not a landscape shooter at all, but I went for a Sony Alpha morning shoot just the other day. Met up with Hannah Saber for the first time, so that was really cool. And I used the 24 on a landscape shot, and I really love using it. It was fantastic. It was beautiful. It's so sharp, so easy to use. I love it. It's got the same filter thread as my Tamron, so I can use all the same filters. The 67mm filter thread in there. It's brilliant. So I would buy the 24 1.8, definitely. You've got a faster aperture as well. And like I said, the declicked aperture ring is fantastic, and it's such a good gimbal lens, that one. Rui's saying hello. Haz says, need to stay compact. Yeah, well, that's why the 24 is lovely and compact. It's a great lens. I'm really happy with it. James said, how many of my kids will I have to send for this new lens? Well, it's about $9.99, I believe. So it's going to be $1,000 US, roughly. G'day, Joe. How are you? Photomix says $8.99 is fair if the performance is on par with the 28 to 75. I think it will be. I'll be surprised if they don't keep the performance up. Tamron seem to have found a real niche now, and they're certainly much better lenses than they were years ago. And also it acts like a native lens. That's the beauty of going down the Tamron line, because you can update them in the camera, which is fantastic. So I would be very surprised if it's not equally as good as the 28 to 75. And if it is, it's going to be outstanding. Scott said, I usually add a little vignette to my photos anyway. So do I often. Haas said, same here, Scott, just a hobbyist here. Tim said, I want this lens for video. Yeah, it will be a great video lens for sure, because it's no doubt going to be very light, and it's nice and wide. This is what I'm finding now. I must review this still, because I've got the 16mm Sigma lens that I'm using now on me with the A6400 here. I adore that for video. So I love it. I think that is probably one of the best lenses. You team that lens up with the A6400 and it's brilliant. You cannot get a better gimbal combination. It's stunning. I love it. Really love it. If you want to see what it looks like, check out Rebecca's video that I did a while ago. This one. Let me see if I can just find it, because I'll just show you, because it's so good. Let me just go to YouTube. Because I was really surprised how nice and sharp it was. Like it really is a beautiful combination. It's the first time in a while I haven't used the A9 for video. Look, it's not the A9, but it is really nice. Let me just come down here. It's probably going to be a bit slow because I'm online as well, but let me just see. Let me open this up. So it was this video here. So this was all shot with the 16 to 35. It's probably gonna go slow. Oh no, it's all right. So have a look at that video anyway. You'll see it's Rebecca in Melbourne without me talking. It was when I reviewed the Prophoto A1. But it worked fantastic on the gimbal. It was beautiful, and that's the sort of result you'll get with that lens. So even though it is a really quite wide lens, if you're sensible about it and smart about it, and use it, like I said, I made sure that I was conscious of trying not to grab Rebecca on the edges close, because it will have distortion there, being a 16mm. But it's fantastic, and there you go. I mean, she's walking towards me here, but again, I'm keeping her in the center of the frame, so I'm not going to get that distortion that's there. And I was very happy with it. So yes, the camera hasn't got stabilization. This is the A6400. It hasn't got stabilization, but if you put it on a gimbal, it works really well. And I like how wide it is. Like I said, everything was I was fitting everything in the frame. Extremely light when you're dragging it, when you're sticking it on a gimbal as well. Focus is as good as native lenses, so I was rapt about that as well. And it was just beautiful. Look at the depth of field. That's all from the 16mm, and I shot this all at 1.4. So it works beautiful. And like I said, for something that is so light, and you can get that great depth of field using APS-C at 1.4. Everything works in focus. a fantastic combination. So this may be my gimbal setup from now on due to the fact of how light it was. Everything was on standard profile, you know, so you can sort of see how the colors are straight more or less out of camera because I didn't really have to do any correction to them or anything, but absolutely loved it. You know, and it's really good, and I'm so happy with it. See, even on the edges, it looks fine, even though she was on the edges there. But check out that video anyway. Look at the depth of field there. You know, and you're talking about APS-C here, so yeah, just thought I'd show you that. I must do like I said, I must do a review on that camera and that lens combo because it really is fantastic. Brandon says, how was your Facebook ban going? Well, I'm back now, Brandon. I had a week of timeout and I've got no idea why they banned me for that week. I messaged them. They never get back to you. This is the problem. And I said, what did I do wrong so I know next time what to avoid? Because if you check my pages, I never post anything inappropriate. I never post anything sexual. I don't get into politics or anything like that or anything. So I've got no idea why they would have banned me for a week. And they don't tell you. So I'm dumbfounded to what it was. But yes, I'm back now. So that's all fine. What else have we got? Rui said, my wife and I both have our own A7 IIIs, but I just had one Tamron 28-75. We both love the lens, so I bought her a Tamron 28-75 yesterday. And I can understand that because it really is, it's fantastic. I love using it as well. I really do. Let me just bring that back. I'm just going back to where I was live just so I can see what's going on. Where's my channel? Your channel. Ooh. Home. At least my cold's improving though. My man cold's improving. I'm so glad. Oh, it was shocking. All right, live. Let me go back to that. All right, so let's get back to this chat. So I mentioned the Facebook ban. Raymond says, I did something unusual. So Amazon shows I have the 24 1.4 GM by the end of July. So I put in an order because it's supposed to be hard to get. The unusual part is I have no cam to attach it to. Yeah, well, it is meant to be hard to get. Funny thing was, when I got mine, I just logged on to Sony and they were in stock here. And I got it basically the next day. So I think I was just lucky. It seems to come in and then it's available and then all of a sudden it'll disappear again. So I think if you do definitely want it, you do have to pre-order it. But I love it. I'd love to try Astro, but I haven't done that because I don't really do it much. But I'd like to try it. Perhaps when I come to Vegas with you guys next year, I'll be able to do some in the desert or something. Raymond said, coming from the Sony DSC-1 Mark II, looking forward to making the E-mount jump. Yeah, you'll love it. Haas says, so for the size, would you recommend APS-C 24 1.8 to the GM 24? No, I would get the GM lens, Haas, only because then you can use it on both cameras and you're going to get the 24mm on the full frame size. Remember, if you get the 24 1.8 lens, it will be about 35mm on the full frame. I'd get this only for the fact that I mean it's a nicer lens than what you're getting for the Sony 24 1.8, plus you're getting a 1.4 as well. You're getting that declickable aperture and your focus buttons, and also the AM FM switch, which is really handy as well. So I'd get the GM24. I would definitely get the GM24. It's probably one of my favourite lenses. I love it. I really do love it. Stephen says you have to keep in mind that 24mm is more used to use in portraiture. But it's fine though, Stephen. Let me just show you. I'll just show you because I think it's a lot better than what you think. Let me just open up this program and I'll show you Rebecca's shots that I did take at 24mm. Let me just go back to here. Let me find where Rebecca is. Where were we? That one. All right, so let me bring up some of these images and I'll show you what they look like. So let me just go here for a minute. I'll just reduce this down in size so that you can see the full image. All right, so I'll show you the ones that were shot at 24mm. Let me just bring up the library and I'll filter it out so that you can see just the 24. All right, so these were all shot at 24mm. So that was shot at 24. And again, like I said, if you're careful about what you do with it, look, you wouldn't want to get really, really close and put, you know, someone's face very, very close to that. But if you do it where you're leaving enough room around it, it's actually quite stunning. And I was surprised how much I love the look that it gave me. You can see that I'm quite close here. Now, yes, there is, if I shot this with a 35, you'd have a completely different look. But do I dislike this look? No, I don't. If I'd put her on the edge, it might be a different story. But I actually like the look that this is giving me. And Rebecca adores these images, actually. And I love that. And this is 24mm. So these were all shot with 24mm. They were shot at f1.4. And again, that's also one because I wanted to grab the ambience and the environment around her with all of these images. So you can shoot with 24 if you're mindful about what you're going to do with it. Like I said, and you want to show a bit of the you know, the environment that they're in. And I think that's probably something that may give you a little bit of a point of difference if you're dealing with that. And I'm actually going to start using this lens more. And I can't wait to use this in a wedding, you know, to get that as well, you know, to have that look. I mean, let me see if I can show you this wedding I did with it. Let me just go back to the library. Just to show you that you can get lovely images with the 24mm. So this one, for instance, 24mm. That one there was the 24mm as well. So, you know, that you can shoot some lovely wide images if you want to get some lovely wide and environmental type images, as long as you don't put people too close to the edges and put them right on the, you know, the outer extreme of that. So, you know, you've got to be careful about that. Let me just quit this. So don't discount the 24 if you want to do portraits. Remember, you're not limited to anything as long as you're careful with how you do it. There's other things too. Oh, that went weird. That's what happened last time. Ooh. 1, 2. That. Ooh. I think that's because I opened up YouTube. I mean, is that doing it on live? I think that happens when I open up Lightroom. I had too much open, I think, and my computer's cracked it. Yeah, it does. Oh, that looks weird. I'm seeing if it comes back. Yeah, it's a bit strange. Oh, I'll have to not move. Let me just answer these before we finish because it's gone berserk now. It's gone really strange. So don't be too shy of using that 24mm. I think it's a lot better than what you think it is. Brandon says the G is so sharp wide open even when playing around the edges. It's a great lens. I really like it. Raymond said, so when the A7S 3 Finder comes out, I will have that great lens right off the bat. Just hope the lens winds up having no defects. Well, it shouldn't. I mean, you know, you'd have to be unlucky. P.S. I'm a great gimbal fan, which is why I bought the 28 1.4. And that's the thing I love about that. I have used that on a gimbal, and I do really like it. Has it come back yet? Yeah, it finally has. Let's have a look. Raymond says, P.S. I'm a great gimbal... Oh, I read that one, yeah. Stephen says, Raymond, you should take the lens and an ASCAR to your local... to test it out, yeah. That's a good idea. Anyone know where I can get the 70 to 200 G Master? all the shops sell that, don't they, Ron? On sale. Casper said Nikon is dead. Oh, Casper, you're a shocker. Ron said, wait, Tamron is working on the 70-200. Should I wait or get the GM? You're going to wait a year probably, Ron, though. So that's the thing. If you are thinking about getting one and you need it now, I wouldn't be waiting. Mick said Sigma 16 for landscapes is very sharp. It is a very sharp lens, Mick. I agree with you. Like I said, I must do a review of that for you guys. Scott said you probably get automatic ban from the AI algorithm they're testing. It often gets it wrong. Yeah, I don't know why I got banned, Scott. Like I said, there's nothing I post that could get me banned, and that's the interesting thing. I just don't understand. And this is what is frightening because, you know, you've got no control of it. You can't contact anyone. It's awful. I mean, they didn't ban me from posting on my own page, but they banned me from posting to other groups and things like that, which was, you know, it was crazy. Casper said, fantastic pictures. Thank you, Casper. Daniel said it's on live, spooky. I know, it was a bit weird. Something up in the Matrix. Love doing environmental portraits. So do I, Brett, because it's something a little bit different. Remember, and this is the thing that I love to do with brides, because they pay so much for their wedding venues, and then everyone gets up and they don't show the venue, that, you know, they don't show the beautiful locations where they are, and that's one great thing that you can do, and it's certainly worth doing that. And the 24 is a beautiful focal length for that. Like I said, it used to be 35, but I sold my 35. I couldn't believe I decided to do that. And then now I'm trying to use the 24 to see how I go with it. And so far, I love it because it gives me a point of difference. But yeah. Brandon says 24 is great for weddings to capture the environment of the ceremony while it's happening down the walkway, dancing, etc. Yeah, and that's so true. And that's it. I've caught up with the live chat. I'm only staying here for a few minutes, guys, because I've actually got to go and start making dinner for my lovely wife, who'll be home from work any minute now. But I wanted to just have a chat for you guys for a different time. Peter said, oh, g'day, Peter. Good to see you in here. The 24 is freaking awesome. I agree with you, Peter. It is. That's why I thought I'd show a few images, because it's a stunning lens. I really like using it. And, you know, and it's so light, and it just feels so well made. For someone that had no G Masters and then all of a sudden I've got two of them, it's quite funny. That's Casper's fault. He was convincing me to get up. And what's up? Kerry hasn't killed you yet, I see. No, she hasn't killed me yet. It's my birthday on Thursday, so hopefully she won't kill me before that. I love it. She's on her way home in a minute, so she'll be back. Real coffee, yeah, for sure, Casper. All right, guys. That's it. That's all I'm popping in for today. Now, before I go, leave me in the comments. What do you think about that price? Because I'd love to know. Do you think $9.99 is a good price for the Tamron lens? I noticed a few people were whinging on Sony Alpha Rumors, and I can't understand that. I think that's very reasonably priced for what they're offering with that lens. And like I said, then some were saying it's dead on arrival, and I can't understand them saying that. That's just ridiculous. Because and I think they were pointing it from the 16mm, is the 17mm is not wide enough. But if it's not wide enough for you, well, then you don't get the lens, and you can get the 16-35 GM or the f4 version. So I think it's and I think it's going to be a great lens. But let me know in the comment box what you think about it. Apart from that, I'll see you all live for Aaron's show on Tuesday US time. That'll be on Aaron's channel this week, though. All right, guys. Catch you later. Have a great evening and day or whatever else as well. See you later, everyone.